They're all happy for us, but
We
they're
got some
jealous
people
of the
here.
bread.
Hey, everyone that's joining. We are just starting. Actually, we were making drinks and
We got
eating soda bread, Irish soda bread.
This is next level soda bread, though. I've had soda
This
bread
is
before.
fantastic.
This is not.
I'm so
Did
glad.
you eat some soda bread?
No.
You should eat some soda bread.
There's an egg in it.
Thank you, John.
You have to make
Sorry.
eggless.
Parental advisory.
What do you do if you need to bake and you need to substitute something for eggs? What's the substitute?
Flaxseed
Flaxseed.
or
Cheese.
applesauce.
You said cheese?
No.
Okay.
I also thought you were about to say cheese. I was like, wow.
I was gonna say chia seeds,
I was gonna say you can't just substitute cheese
but
for
applesauce
eggs.
is good. That keeps
I
it
could
light.
try though.
I do have applesauce.
Mm-hmm.
I love
You just
cheese.
use one of those Go-Go Squeeze pouches.
A quarter cup per egg. It also works for oil too.
Storing it right up there.
Yeah.
I think we do need to flaunt the bread. We would be bread.
We would be bread.
We would.
Zero.
All right.
Like eating in front of people.
I know
This
I
is
know,
like
me like
the
literally
worst
that's-
nightmare for me right now.
Uh,
I told my wedding photographer to like never take a photo of me with like my mouth.
I didn't see any. It probably worked.
Yeah,
She was your friend anyway, so she'd be like, "Yeah, I got you."
yeah. I was like, I don't want to see anyone else eating food either.
Hey, Nirvana. I know we love John's Nirvana stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe when we are finished, if you stick around or you come back, we can have John play some like full volume for you. I'm just volunteering him for these things.
He's here for it, right, babe?
Okay, guys.
All right.
All right. I'll get us going.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat the rest of that bread. Hold, please. Good evening,
Hi.
Fiends, and happy St. Patty's Day! Yay! That's right. It's Patty with a D, not Patty with a T, because Patty with a T is wrong.
That's your aunt.
I knew
it's
you'd be
also a
happy about
car.
that, John.
It's also a
I
car.
love that.
Or a peppermint patty.
Yeah.
Or a burger, like a burger patty, but it's
Mhm.
not
Nope.
St. Patrick. That is Patty with a D. Anyway, welcome back to another rousing Irish campfire story night. We do not have the fire going because it is too warm. This is our first live stream since Christmas because for some reason I decided that St. Patrick's Day was very important to us.
Yes. I don't know.
I don't really know why. We just
Well, we
kind of.
had shirts.
I know. I made these shirts.
Leslie did make these shirts. I love our toast shirts. We toast every week, and also our first year, I think Bridget Clary was one of our first 5 cases. St. Patrick's Day fell within. Our first episode debuted on February 11th, right before Valentine's Day. That was about love, and then shortly afterwards, we did one that was Irish based for St. Patrick's Day. So we did a story about changelings and Leslie. What was that? What did you teach us? Leslie's what? Leslie's I'm gonna think about it a little while longer because I sprung it on her. What do we have?
It's time for Leslie's leprechaun lessons. Today's your lucky day. Yeah.
We do this every time and you never see it. But we do it. 0! My dog's being the most right now.
0.
I'll get him in a minute and hold him. Anyway, so yeah, we did all that. We had a really good time with it, and then we just kind of grew with it last year, and we thought like this is kind of a fun thing for us. Plus, Irish folklore is like a lot. There's a lot going on, a lot of fun spooky stories to tell. So we just kind of latched onto it, and here we are. 3 years of special episodes and our second St. Patty's Day live. So this year we have John with us as a guest storyteller.
Hello.
He made bread for our patrons. It was very exciting, and we're not forcing him to put makeup on our faces. We're just enjoying his company tonight,
Just hanging out.
which is our favorite way to do things. Yeah, so if you're a patron, you saw John make some delicious soda bread. We also might have talked about nonsense or taken BuzzFeed quizzes, made drinks and gossiped, and it was like the most delightful fun time anyone has ever had in the history of fun times, which sounds awesome, right? And it was. And if you're sad that you missed out on it, well, just sign up to be a patron. I think everybody is, but you know what? That's fine. Then you get the invite to all of our fun events and Zoom calls. It's a very exclusive club, and once a year, we wear green. Also, don't forget to rate and review We Would Be Dead if you want more special events like this. Planning additional things and telling more stories takes up a lot of our vital life forces.
Oh, I am drained.
Ugh. And without a weekly dose of, what is that V word that we use a lot? What do we need?
Validation.
Yes, you did lean into the country.
I did.
Ooh.
It's getting more and more country.
The Jackie harp sound was there. It is getting a little more country every time. Yeah, so without our weekly dose of validation, we melt into puddles on the floor. It's gross and you don't want to see it. So please hop on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a 5-star rating and or a friendly review. And if you want to validate John, you can follow him on any of his social media accounts. Do you want to plug any of those, friend?
Beast of Beauty 912 on Instagram and JOhn Rattacasa official on TikTok, where I just do the most random things.
They're all glorious. If you want to show John a little validation, head over there and do so.
And make sure you get the JOhn Rattacasa official, because you don't want the
Yeah,
unofficial.
There are so many
unofficial. There's
people
so
that are
many
just
people just trying to be
We don't want
mean.
those. Anyway, this isn't an actual episode, so I don't really have any. Come here, Roro. You're so bad. So I don't really have any news, but if you haven't listened to this year's St. Patrick's Day offering, The Legend of Darky Kelly, you should go listen to that ASAP.
So good, by the way.
Thank you.
Love
What a good story that was, and I had
Really?
never heard of it before. It was wild to research, and as you know, Leslie, and I love an old-timey moment. This week, I promise to do something a little more modern, because you've lived with us in the dark ages for quite a long time now, and we thank you for that. I think that's it. Leslie, do you have anything to add before we begin?
Well, Holly, we didn't do our opening.
Oh, that's right, we didn't. I got it in.
Okay.
John, do you have anything to add before we begin?
No.
No?
No.
All right, then.
It's okay. I never do. Never do.
I'm Holly.
I'm Leslie.
I'm John.
And
We would be dead.
Campfire stories! Zero, don't grow. That's Zero. He didn't get into the I'm thing and he's mad. I'm Zero. There you go. So we wanted to do something different this year, something we all really liked in the past, and something that allows you all a little more chance to interact and participate. So we decided that this year we would play, drumroll please, Irish Two Truths and a Lie. Yes. Here's how it goes. Each of us have a different topic. Mine is scary Irish folklore creatures. Leslie, what do you have for us tonight?
I have Irish-related true crimes.
And John, what do you have?
I have haunted locations in Ireland.
All right, very exciting. So here's how we play. Each of us will tell 3 short stories, 2 are true, and 1 we made up right from scratch. When we are finished with our 3 tales of terror, everyone will guess which are true and which is a lie. We'll guess after each set, so don't worry about forgetting details. Beans, who would you like to hear first? Don't worry, you can't hurt our feelings. We're all winners here.
Oh, yeah.
It's
the
just
first one to answer.
Whatever topic you like. Like, give me a couple. What do you want to hear first? Ghost
feel
and
like-
haunted location.
Is Sandra behind on our...
Oh, no, Sandy, are you a little behind?
Are you
Go for it.
behind?
No, it's fine.
We already did
She said,
validation.
no, that's the mead talking.
Oh.
Oh, yes! Have your mead. I love it. I'm trying to find where I have this YouTube like open, and I can't right now because I
You
don't
have
have.
so many. Why are they
When
all
do
so
I
open?
not have so many? So
Okay, the chat got really quiet.
Leslie's trying to look at mine, so
So,
she can be like, "I'm gonna guess."
who do you want to hear first?
Yeah.
Gonna need some answers,
I'm just
please.
gonna assign
Or else we're all just going to sit here for a very
We're
long
just
time.
gonna just stare at
Or we're all gonna talk at once.
it. Oh, I like
We're
that.
just gonna get them all done at one time, and then that's gonna be it.
All right, everyone, choose between John.
Dun, 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 dun,
Myself.
dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
Leslie.
I'm Holly.
John.
It's true. That's
Yeah.
my
I'm
name.
Zero. He has no offerings, but he really wants to be involved.
None whatsoever.
I know.
Not a thought behind those eyes.
All right, I choose Leslie. You're first.
Okay. It's me. If you all wanted someone else, I'm sorry.
It fell on me to choose, and I was going to eat the rest of my bread.
All right. My first story.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying not to look because I
Oh, it doesn't. You won't be able to tell.
Perfect.
I didn't write anything.
didn't either.
I remembered which one I wrote, so I didn't need to
I remember which one I wrote too.
Yeah.
So
Pikachu. I choose you. Okay.
that is
You
not an option. Nikki said, "Let the special
can
guest
read
go
that from
first."
here.
Uh-oh. Someone said John.
I don't care. I'll go first if you want me to go first, or you can go first. Please.
John, you go first.
All right.
Let's just go down the line.
Let's get spooky in
All right, then
here.
we're gonna give it to John.
I had to type them.
Let Zero pick.
Let's Zero pick.
That would be you.
Listen, you guys, he's gonna pick me. So.
All right, well, settle in, everyone. So I'm doing some haunted places Irish
excited.
edition. So let's get started on the first story. Known as the most haunted house in Ireland, and said to be haunted by the devil himself,
Ooh.
the fate of Loftus Hall as one of the most haunted places in Ireland was perhaps set in stone due to its construction in 1350 during the time of the Black Death.
Oh my.
So it was partially used as a hospital for a while during the Black Death. Located in the coast of Ireland in County Wexford, the legend of Loftus Hall actually dates from the 18th century when a mysterious stranger came calling to the Tottenham family, who occupied the house at the time. Legend has it that the Tottenham daughter, Anne, became infatuated with the handsome stranger who called upon the Tottenham family. He had a lengthy stay at the hall, and one night while they were playing cards, Lady Anne dropped a card while bending down to retrieve it. She caught a glimpse of the stranger under the table, and realizing that this mysterious stranger was none other than the devil, due to the fact that he had a cloven hoof in place of a foot.
No! This
Yes.
guy was just at her party. She was like,
Just-
oh, hi. You have boobs.
She was like, no, thank you.
It was a wild party.
Right? Soon after, the mysterious stranger disappeared when he burst into flames after being recognized as the devil and flew through the roof.
I'm really mad he didn't turn into 1,000 bats.
It would have been much more dramatic.
It would have been.
Anne, who was being driven mad by the devil's visit, brought shame on the whole family due to her supposed hysterics, and was subsequently locked away in her room where she died several years later.
Oh, God. So the devil went to her party, and then she just went to her room
She
and died.
she went crazy and her family locked her up. They said, nope, you can't get out. And there was even a rumor at one point that she was impregnated by the devil. And some
Where'd that baby?
stories, which there's no proof of this, but there are some stories that she had the baby and buried it inside the walls.
Okay.
She killed the baby and buried it inside the walls because she didn't want to have any part with having the devil's child.
Was it Darky Kelly? It sounds like it kind of was Darky Kelly.
Right?
Yeah. Their stories are very similar.
It is said that Anne
He'll
haunts.
sleep tired of whatever he's doing.
It said that Anne haunts Loftus Hall, which is said to be like a hive of poltergeist, which is not poltergeist activity. Poltergeists are people causing the problems. So there's just high.
Right. We talked about that at one point, where it's your energy coming back at you.
Yes,
It's a poltergeist,
exactly.
not an actual.
You remember.
I remember everything you say. I listen.
So
I
it's not.
got the leprechaun quiz pretty right.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, keep going.
So it's not poltergeist activity, but it's highly crazy, supernatural activity. And many other spooky specters reside there to this very day. The devil left his mark on Loftus Hall, where above the table where they would play cards, there's this big burn. And it was a hole and it was patched over, but they keep painting over it and the paint won't stick. It just keeps peeling off and becoming a hole. So very spooky.
Zero, what did you bring me? Oh, your toy
It's
that
the
makes the
toy.
most sound in the world.
It sounds like a crackling fire, you know?
It's like a ShopRite bag inside a stuffed toy.
It's a crackling fire.
Sorry.
Where was I? Oh. So people can go and stay at this hotel or this terrifying place, and they report all different kinds of things between scratching and pushing down stairs and cruises and hearing disembodied voices, catching shadows in pictures. But it kind of gets even worse because there's a lot of crazy things that happened here.
Okay.
And they, hold on, I lost my spot.
Yeah, because my dog, who is so extra and needs the attention to be on him.
Oh no, it's a little snowman,
It is a
y'all.
snowman. I'm
It's
gonna
very
keep
cute.
going. I'm gonna get him something.
Okay. But as of the end of 2021, Loftus Hall has been permanently closed.
Oh.
And many people speculated that it was due to all the crazy paranormal activity.
Yeah.
Because nobody was allowed to investigate there anymore. But it gets worse because the owners are turning it into a hotel where they will not speak of any of the paranormal activity or devilish guests ever again.
Oh.
So now, eventually, once they refurbish it, you're going to be able to stay there.
Oh no.
And it's going to be just a hotel.
Okay, and they're not going to
And they're
talk
going to
about the
literally be
past?
like, no,
We don't get a
nothing
warning?
happened here. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy your stay.
I don't care for that at all.
Right? I think that's real shady.
It
Well-
is super shady. You can't be doing that.
Although I'd rather
Not
that.
know.
Yeah, but then what if you're staying
You could
there
choose
and
not
all
to
of a
stay
sudden
Then
crazy
I'd
things
be
happen?
but then I'd like to find that out later. But otherwise, I'm gonna be like, oh shit.
You
I
just stay
like-
somewhere else.
Yeah.
You could be informed and just not be there.
Right.
Ugh.
No one's forcing you. It's all right.
Well.
We also have discussed that we do not want to sleep in haunted locations. That's not our thing.
But I will get them to do it eventually.
We won't sleep, but we will be there overnight.
We'll be there
I don't
overnight.
sleep
No,
anyway.
I will sleep. And the first thing I will do is
That's true.
I
Shut
will
up.
just
go to sleep.
I will just go to sleep
Leslie, I'll shut
and I will
right
sleep
down.
through the whole night.
You're gonna just like
I will not be fun. Everyone will be like, this was a waste. Why did we take her? I'm just gonna fall asleep.
I'll be up all
I can
night.
scare you all night though.
Neither one of us sleep ever at all.
We'll
So
be
we'll
up
be
all
fine.
night. You'll have a great time there.
Yeah, so we obviously all know that my greatest fear is snakes.
Yeah.
So I've gone camping before, and literally all I have to do is I just pass out and I just stay asleep because I'm like,
And then you don't have to
I
think about it.
don't have to think about it. So that's like I'm terrified, but I wear myself out being so scared.
Oh,
that I just fall
so you
asleep.
sleep well.
Yes,
Okay.
it's the best sleep I ever had, being terrified. You know what? I should go.
Let's go.
All right, we'll get you a nice rest. John and I will stay up the whole night.
Talk to all the spooky ghosties. It'll be great.
I'm here for it.
All right. So story 2.
All right, that was story number 1.
Yes,
Loftus Hall.
That was
Loftus
good.
Hall.
I think I believe that one.
Okay, me too.
I believe that one.
All right, this is 2.
Number 2, the Hellfire Club, or Montpelier Hill, as it's commonly known,
Y'all better listen this week.
is an old hunting lodge set in the Dublin Mountains with a very strange past. Founded in the 18th century by Richard Parsons, a Freemason and the first Earl of Ross, the Hellfire Club invited its members to deviate from the social norms of the day and take a walk on the wild side of life.
Yes.
You sure did.
If the Hellfire Club had a motto, then it would probably be anything goes. From debauched behavior and satanic rituals, it seems that nothing was off limits for members of the Hellfire Club.
They're so bad.
I know, right?
They're so bad.
Indeed, it is said that the ultimate aim for members of the Hellfire Club was to summon Satan to their meetings. To this effect, members of the club, led by their president, the King of Hell, dabbled in dark magic and conducted black masses. If legend is to be believed, the Hellfire Club also sacrificed animals and even dabbled in cannibalism when they sacrificed and then consumed a servant girl in their quest to summon the Dark Lord. I laugh every time I hear the Dark Lord.
The Dark
The
Lord.
Dark Lord. Even today, paranormal investigators arrive on the grounds to find animal skulls still covered in sinew and insects.
Ooh.
And they find like candles and stuff like that.
That's
But that's not
nice.
all.
I know, candles good.
That's nice.
Yes, candles and also
Ooh.
bloody bones.
I mean, my house is full of skulls,
That
but there are
sounds like a
sinews
shop
or
we would
insects.
open.
Right.
Yeah, I would
Candles and bloody bones.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Can that be another scent? Candles and bloody bones.
Just soot.
Ooh, it has to be like two bros, like something that like might overpowering is just a little bit too much.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
That's sickly sweet.
Just put that in the back of your head.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna forget about it immediately, so I can't remember shit. But I like it. Remind us.
So they arrive on the grounds, they find animal skulls and stuff like that. But that's not all they arrive to. More often than not, the investigators arrive to abandoned equipment, burnt out candles, leftover ritual items, and more. It's almost as if the investigators just couldn't hack it and they were chased off the land by presiding spirits. In reality, not much is known about what actually went on inside the stone walls of the Hellfire Club because it did burn down.
Okay.
Everything's burned.
Really, really.
Everything they
I'm
have
surprised
burned down.
Ireland is still
All they did
standing.
I know.
Fires.
Well, this is the thing though. It burnt down the first time because it was more like it was made out of wood,
Right.
and they rebuilt it.
You can go see ruins of it still.
Yeah.
There.
And it is made out of stone now, so it's still there. And there's many parts of it are.
There
just
is a
like-
photo of it in our photo suite this week.
Ah, yeah.
If
Don't
you
give it
want to
away.
see. That doesn't mean the story's true. It only
That's
means
true.
there's
That's
That's
structure.
true.
That's true.
Elements.
That's
can,
true.
You can use true elements and tell a fake story.
But supernatural reports have been connected to the lodge since it was built in 1725. That's 297 years of haunted history,
Ugh.
debauchery,
Ugh.
rituals,
Ugh.
devils,
Ugh.
demons,
Ooh.
and spirits.
I like the demons got a ooh.
Oh.
Oh.
You never know; they could be very handsome.
Who
could
knows?
be.
We don't know.
It doesn't
That's
matter
good
what you
demons.
do or don't believe in.
Angel.
Stepping foot on the land will send an electric shiver down your spine and raise all the hairs on the back of your neck. There is an energy there, and it waits for you. Dun dun dun!
Dun, dun, dun.
Why?
We gasp. John, I love that was a tag this week. Spoilers if you didn't listen.
Oh, the gas.
We gasp. Leslie got on board so fast too. I didn't tell her to do that. She was like, yeah, okay, we gasp.
I love that.
Perfect. All right, so we talked a little bit about the Hellfire.
Yeah.
Club.
Okay.
And 3. The Demon of Loughcrew, in Meath, Ireland. And I don't know if it's actually pronounced Loughcrew or like Loughcrew.
Say it with an Irish accent.
I can't
Sing
do
it.
Sing
I
it.
can't.
How's it spelled?
Loughcrew.
L-O-U-G.
So I was like, I'm not sure if it's like
Lough.
Loughcrew.
Loft. Yeah,
It's
loft.
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 Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
That was how I would imagine it.
Because I also know people like McLaughlin and it's
Yes.
Lough,
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Lough.
Yeah.
Very good association. Well done, Leslie.
But
You're
this takes
welcome.
place in Meath, Ireland, which if Dublin is here, it's like way over like in the middle of Ireland. So it's kind of like in the heart of Ireland. Deep in the rolling hills of Ireland, miles and miles away from the populated city of Dublin, is Loughcrew. A large... Is that how we decided?
Yeah.
Okay. Loughcrew.
Large, if that's how it's pronounced.
a large state park surrounded by forest and greenery, and there in the center of it all lays the monolithic stones known as the Cairns of Loughcrew. Unfortunately,
The Karens,
the
are they
see,
very judgmental?
they all have like that, the cut,
Yeah.
Okay.
and they're all like they have returns. It's just a long lines of people with returns.
Yeah.
And they want to talk to the
They'll talk to
manager,
the manager immediately.
whoever they are.
This is the scariest one you've told.
And it gets worse
Oh no.
because this all takes place in a Target.
No, I
I'm
love
just
Target. How
kidding.
dare you ruin it? I just moved to a place where I could go to a Target.
I know that must be really exciting.
He's lying.
Thank you, Leslie.
All right. Unfortunately, what comes with the ancient stones is not the sight of some handsome Irishman coming through the stones for you to fall in love with, because that's Scotland.
Oh,
That's true, yeah.
What's that on
Outlander.
that list?
If anybody's Outlander fan, me too.
4 episodes in.
Penny. So
Ooh.
I was just excited by the
My
My
imagery in
mom's an
general.
old reader.
Right? Can you imagine just some handsome man like popping through a stone like, I love you now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
She
terrible.
got some good ass in that show.
See what you get when you come to a live? You'd say that on the podcast.
I would,
never
yeah.
mind.
So the thing that makes Loughcrew their home is much less handsome and far less nice. Resting in the ancient stones is something simply known as the Dorchabrora,
Yeah, have fun.
or
I
in
know they're all
English, it
terrifying.
means the Darkbringer. Sound cheery? I didn't think so.
Yeah.
The Dark Lord. It's just Voldemort.
Eat
He should not be
everything.
Loughcrew aren't just standing stones, they're burial sites, and walking onto the acres of land, you're immediately surrounded by large circular mounds in the ground, and each one has its own stones that encircle each tomb. Similar sites are littered all along the Emerald Isle, such as Brunabon, Sheena Brew, Carramore, and
Paramore. Yeah.
yeah, Paramore.
Haley.
Perfect. And buried there are said to be all different kinds of things. The Tuatha De Danann, which is the she or the fairy folk.
You pronounced that one
Mhm.
real fast.
I know that one.
Okay.
And then other people say there's the high-ranking like clan members and Irish nobility.
Hmm.
In Irish folklore, it is bad luck to damage and disrespect such tombs, and that doing so could bring on a curse. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Most people weren't allowed to like excavate the sites really until more recently because there was so much like it's so sacred to Irish people.
Mhm.
But in the late 1980s, a special team of archaeologists were granted privileged access to the tombs to excavate and gather more knowledge on what the standing stones surrounding the tombs may have been used for. During the excavations, one of the diggers mysteriously lost control of their large mechanical backhoe and cracked the stone above the entrance of the biggest tomb.
I hate when I lose control of my back.
Right?
though.
Every day.
I just
Every
put a
day.
comma in between the two. It's fine.
Every morning I wake up, I lose control.
I lost control of my back, ho. It's awful.
For the remaining duration of their dig, the crews were tormented by misfortune. Between injuries, illnesses, accidents, and even like small animal attacks,
Oh.
the team of archaeologists couldn't bear to stay there any
Small
longer.
animal attack.
It's just like puppies.
Sarah, you're fine. Keep doing what you're doing.
Little nibbles.
What?
Nipples.
Little nibblers.
I literally thought we were bringing it back to the nipple belt.
Touch
real
their
quick.
little nipples.
Guys, that's on you.
Nibble.
Yeah,
I like that
nipple.
one.
But they couldn't really bear to stay there any longer, and they wound up fleeing the scene earlier than they were supposed to.
Ugh.
Today, Loft Crew and the tombs are popular tourist destinations, specifically for the paranormal communities. Amongst all of the spooky activity, one specific entity caught the world's attention in the early 2000s. Stories began to come out of a tall, dark figure who kind of was like the protector of the burial sites. And he had a presence that was so heavy and dark that upon seeing the shadow, people would have the sensation of being surrounded by pure darkness. And one person even said that felt like they were losing their vision or being like smothered by like a sheet, like a black sheet.
Oh, I don't like that.
So it's very claustrophobic.
Thank you.
And so they named the being the Dorkabrora, the Darkbringer.
No, nailing that one.
The locals liken it to part of the Aoshi or the Fair Folk. And as part of the Unseelie Court, which is, I don't know if you guys remember from last time we talked about fairies and leprechauns and things like that. Unseelie Court are like the bad.
Right, yeah.
Like the bad section of them, or like the negative kinds.
Did we learn it in one of your lessons?
I don't know. I think I may have wound up bringing it up.
You talked about a fairy creature last year.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was though, but it was like part lizard.
The Ola something.
Oh, yes.
She's the queen. Of
Yeah.
You're so good at remembering.
Yeah, you have a great memory.
Long term, short term, nothing. I got nothing short term. I can remember like past a few weeks. We're good. Once it clears that, I can remember it again.
But yeah, so today investigative teams catch shadows on film, hear disembodied voices, and sometimes experience physical phenomena like scratching, pushing, and burning sensations.
Ew.
It's like a UTI.
Should we give Leslie more whiskey?
Yes. So if you enjoy long scenic hikes
And UTIs.
UTIs and horrifying demons, then this should be a must-see on your tour of ancient Ireland.
Today is your lucky day.
And those are my 3 stories.
Oh, those are good. So now, anyone who is here, we have to guess which one of John's 3 stories was fabricated. So,
Okay.
drop your guess in the comments.
Is it 1, 2, or 3? Why am I the bird that little
You're the
owl?
And that's
Tootsie
who
Pop
I was,
commercial. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
So I'm gonna say it's not the Hellfire Club one because I researched them for like
Yeah.
a week.
Mhm.
And the podcast I linked in the show notes this week, if you're interested in the Hellfire Club, is actually fantastic.
Yes.
They do a really great job. It's called No Smoke Without Hellfire. It's all Irish historians. It's wonderful. So I'm going to say that one is true.
Sandra takes it back.
Sandy!
She's like number 2. Just kidding.
I could be wrong, though. You guys, I could be wrong.
Because he
It
could
have
have just been taking, tweaking it enough.
I didn't read about like ghost stories. I only read about the history. So the ghost stories part might be false.
I think I'm going to go with 1.
You know, 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna round it out, and I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay. Because I'm between 1 and 3,
Good,
but
good.
I like your story for the first one. So.
I like all of them. They
I
were
do,
they
I
were
know.
really good stories. Anybody else have a guess? Anybody?
Anybody?
Sandra took back her number 3 and said,
Yeah.
nope, just kidding.
Really? One of them is correct. So
All right,
Nikki
Nikki's with
says
me, so we got
1.
2 for
all right,
1.
He says 1. I say 3.
So I think Sandy said 3. Sandy, you keeping it?
No one says 2.
Well, because you just told them not to.
I didn't tell them not to. I said I didn't guess that one. Doesn't mean I'm right.
All right.
I'm flattered that you all think I like know.
Sandra's just talking to herself with all the wrong
She-
guesses.
Bless you.
Sandra's sticking with 3. Okay.
All right.
Do I tell you?
Yes.
Number 3.
Oh,
Yes!
However,
I'm so bad.
Loft Crew is a completely real place,
Okay.
and there is like some haunted history, but like not really. Like it's more like myth history.
Okay.
None of that stuff happens there.
Okay.
There's no like I made up that demon with the little bit of Gaelic that I know.
Okay.
You use wow.
Yeah.
That was good.
He's just pronouncing words and making it happen left and right. Good job. The Dementors.
The
Yes, on
Dementors.
screen. The Dementors. Ariel,
Yes.
you missed number 1. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it later. We're not going to delete it. Don't worry.
It's there.
Yep, get it?
All right. Should
That
we
was-
move on to the next one?
That was good.
Thanks.
Good job, bud.
Thanks.
Does anyone need a refresher?
And we need more bread.
Oh, I mean there's a lot of
boy,
bread in
I
there.
love bread. That was so good, you
There's
guys.
so much bread.
Do we want to refresh our drinks or do we want to continue? Or do you want a Guinness?
I wanted just a Guinness.
Me too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go get some Guinnesses,
Okay.
and then we're gonna go on to. Do you want to go next? Do you guys have an opinion? Leslie can go next.
Why don't you go get the beer and we'll come back. And then if anybody would rather have me or Holly go, they could say. Otherwise,
I mean, we're not gonna make you make that Sophie's choice. Although our topics are very different, so you may have one that you like a lot more than the other one. In which case,
that's true. Okay, so I'm doing Irish related true crimes. They all happened around St. Paddy's Day or on St. Paddy's Day. And Holly did creatures, like mythological creatures from Ireland.
They're all so fun,
Yes,
truly.
all of them.
Even the fake ones that I made up.
Yeah. I felt like I'm so bad at guessing those. Because I felt like the first one that felt like a real full story. Like it was,
Right.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And that's why I was just like, okay, I totally believe that
Mhm.
one. And then the second one, I knew about the Hellfire. But like
Yeah.
Holly said, like it could have been the total offshoot, you know? But I didn't think that you would have chosen like a full on, like this is the society, this
Yeah.
is a thing.
No.
Without being like, here's a story that
Yeah.
that happened. And then the third one, I guess I felt like that could have been, but there were so many words that you did
I know.
that I was just like, okay, maybe. But that's also something I would have done, and just
Right.
like throwing a whole bunch of things in there.
I literally was like, how do you say dark in Gaelic? And it's Dorka, which is so close to Dorcas.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Um,
They love a dork.
They love a dork.
They sure do.
Honestly, same. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, there was a lot of Harry Potter vibes in that one.
Lots of Harry. I mean, it was basically just Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You just
which is
watched
great.
all 6. How many movies are there? 8?
Seven. Well, 7 is 8, I guess.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, look how
7.5.
fun I got with my beer glasses.
Ooh.
Nice.
These are-
Sláinte.
Yeah,
Right?
Sláinte.
Mhm.
These are Cape May Brewing Company glasses. We support them. They hosted us live.
Oh, they're so much fun there.
Yeah, they're fun. So
Do you want water?
I'm good for now.
Okay.
I just drank too much water.
Okay. Just drank too much seltzer and ginger. Woo!
Just couldn't stop, you know? I'm really tipsy.
Well, our lovely group hates to make a decision, so I will go
Sorry.
next.
Well.
All right, I apologize. I have to read from my phone. I don't know if this bothers anybody. Checking my mail first. Okay.
Let me just check all my socials.
All right. First up,
Zero's here for this.
my first story starts in America, just so you know.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. We're in America now.
Joe and June Maloney of Rochester, New York, met, fell in love, and were married by 1962. Both of them grew up in the area. June went to school and became a nurse. Joe had worked as a janitor at the Rochester State Mental Hospital, where his dad had worked for years as a security guard. And then Joe left that job to become a demolition contractor. And that's like what he is known as, like the majority of the time. He's just like, I do demolition.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
Break it down.
Over the next 5 years, they had 2 children and a lot of issues.
Oh, no.
In 1967, June, who was now 27, had enough of Joe's verbal abuse and intimidating nature.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh,
She confided in a family friend, Neil Dunkelberg.
Dunkelberg.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a good one.
Yep.
Amazing.
Sharing that Joe had roughed her up a couple of times. Although he did not hit or bruise her, he would get angry and yell at her and like look real dangerous, like too doing it. Like, yeah, exactly. He would also grab and shake her on occasion.
I'm not gonna do
Just
that
like
part.
horrifying.
He's shaking the
Thank
dog.
you.
The dog's gonna bite the shit out of me like he usually does.
So June decided to walk out on Joe and took their 2 children with her.
Okay, June.
Yep. She didn't cut off full communication with him, though. Joe was allowed to see the kids whenever he wanted. All of this was set up informally, so no courts were involved. Joe wasn't happy about this new arrangement. Each day that went by, he grew more and more angry at his wife for leaving him. So instead of realizing how much of an ass he had been and how he should apologize and rebuild this relationship with his beautiful soulmate of a woman, he decided that poisoning her would be the best option.
Boy poisoner.
Different.
Okay.
So now Joe needed to. Hold on. Oh no, I don't like being on my phone. Okay. So Joe now needed to find a poison that was untraceable, and it just so happens that Neil. Oh my God! It auto-corrected the name, but the guy Neil Dunkelberg.
Dunkelberg.
There we go.
Dunkelberg.
And changed it to Bunkleberry.
Why
Just
would
so
you
you know.
ever do that? Bunkleberry?
Bunkleberry.
I can't.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't know, but
We need
anyway.
team shirts with Bunkleberry
Yeah.
and our numbers
Yes.
on that.
All right, so Neil Bunkleberry, Dunkelberg, was an amateur chemist who kept his own lab in his basement. Several weeks after June left, Joe paid an unexpected visit to his old pal Neil and asked him if he could help out with like a dog issue that he was having. Apparently, there was a dog in the neighborhood that was being a nuisance and kept tipping over his garbage cans and then were like going through the trash.
He said that there was like, ah.
Yeah. Joe had been timid to do much about it because the dog belonged to a police officer who lived in the neighborhood. So he thought maybe poisoning the dog with something odorless, tasteless, and untraceable would do the trick. Isn't that just terrible? Like,
Oh my God!
There's just
Not
like-
the dog!
I don't want to
Don't
say
let the
anything.
baby here.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to say anything to this police officer about his dog, but like I'll just kill him.
I'm upsetty spaghetti right
Yeah.
now.
Joe was specifically interested in this clear liquid that Neil had, which happened to be wood alcohol or methanol.
Oh, no.
It's a type of alcohol used to make antifreeze, pesticides, windshield wiper fluid, paint thinner, and certain types of fuel and other substances. So like he also would have had it for like probably like house cleaning products and
Right.
things like that. And him being like in a chem lab, he would have like had these like little bits.
This
So-
is bad.
Neil, being the good old boy that he is, said, "When a friend asks for help, you help him." Just kidding. Neil was very
You didn't
suspicious.
get the Letterkenny references? No? Oh, okay.
He was very suspicious of Joe because remember he had already talked to his wife and
Yeah.
like found out that like there were issues. Neil then started to make sure that he locked the doors to his lab and told his family not to let anyone into his lab, especially Joe. 2 weeks later, while the whole family was away on vacation, Neil's sister was house sitting when Joe came knocking on the door. Using his charm and the excuse that he just needed to sterilize some instruments, she let him into Neil's lab in the basement. Joe was able to grab a good amount of the poison. Over the next few weeks, things between Joe and June appeared to be pretty smooth. Everybody was like, oh, they're like getting along. That's nice. On May 27th, they threw a party at their home with friends and family to celebrate their son's 5th birthday. Everything seemed like it was going well. Joe was even making June's cocktails for her. Her favorite, a screwdriver made with orange juice, vodka, and wood alcohol.
Delicious.
First of all,
Yeah.
why is your favorite cocktail a screwdriver?
She loves a screwdriver.
I'm sad for you. Anyway.
Is it the one with the orange juice?
Yeah,
It's
orange
just
juice and
orange
vodka.
vodka.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Not the wood alcohol.
Denatured alcohol.
Yeah, you don't want the methanol.
I think that it would taste better that way.
It might. Yeah.
You know?
You'll get
It will
sicker.
make you wild.
Let me tell you
And
what it'll
dead.
do.
Oh, well, yes, do tell.
So June's friend Wanda Mordinga
These
love
names
these
are
names.
great.
noticed that June seemed a little wound up and asked her how many drinks she had. June answered, only 2. That
Only
night,
2.
only 2. Wanda Longenberger. Bunkelberg.
Dunkelberg.
Bunkleberry!
Yeah.
Huckleberry. 0.
That night, June went back to her apartment. and declined Wanda's invitation to stay the night. The next day, Wanda went by to check on June and was surprised to see Joe and a doctor standing out in the hallway. They told her June wasn't feeling well, and though Joe was hesitant to let Wanda in the room, the doctor told her it was fine. June had just had a case of food poisoning.
Right.
Okay. Wanda was immediately suspicious. When Wanda saw June, she looked very sick. June tells her that she does not want to be left alone with Joe and wants her to stay. While talking to Wanda, she abruptly stops and looks terrified. Wanda turns around to see Joe standing in the doorway, giving a death stare to both of them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, perfect. Wanda stays the rest of the day, but the next morning, June slipped into a coma and was immediately hospitalized. The doctors began running tests to determine the cause of June's rapid deterioration, but all the results came up empty.
They weren't like, it's a lot of poison.
No.
She's like a lot of poison.
No, they were still just like, it's food poisoning. We don't know what's happening.
Boo.
Luckily, Joe was there to give his 2 cents. He told doctors and June's family that their split had caused her to slip into a deep depression.
Mm-hmm.
He believed that she had attempted suicide.
Of course he did.
Wanda and June's family were calling bullshit.
Yeah.
June was proud of her decision to leave Joe, and she would have never willingly left her babies in the sole custody of Joe. Unfortunately, June never regained consciousness, and on June 5th, 1967, she died. But not in vain. Feeling very suspicious, the family asked the doctor... The family asked and the doctors agreed to have an autopsy done immediately. The autopsy determined that she had ingested a lethal dose of the same type of chemical Joe had taken from Neil's lab.
Oh,
Yeah.
The amount ingested
Yeah,
also
that's-
matched the amount. So it was like the same amount. Like Neil could like corroborate and be like, oh yeah,
dang.
this is how much is missing. And like, yeah, that's how much that's in her.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, he took that.
Yeah, he didn't even try to
Yeah.
cover that up.
4 hours after her death, Joe was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Following his conviction on first degree and his sentence of life imprisonment in September 1967, against his attorney's advice, Joe asked to be committed to the Rochester State Mental Hospital for psychiatric evaluation. And now, if you were listening, you might remember that Joe worked there once as a janitor for quite a while. And his
Convenient.
father also worked there as a security guard. So he was a child growing up in this facility.
Oh,
So when his attorney was
no.
just like, don't like plea insanity, he was just like, no, because I know this place.
Yeah.
So the court granted his request because they were unaware that Joe had worked there. On September 25th, 1967, less than 2 weeks after he was admitted, he duplicated a key, escaped from the hospital, and disappeared.
Yikes.
5 years went by
This
with
is like
no
Jack
trace.
Ripper suspect that made the key and got out of the hospital.
Oh, right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So 5 years went by with no trace of Joe Maloney anywhere. 3,000 miles away in a little town of Dublin, Ireland, the Garda, which is the police in Ireland, were called to investigate a burglary at the home of Michael O'Shea. Michael was very friendly in town and knew some of the Garda, so he was met with friendly faces when they arrived. Since they were investigating a burglary, they asked Michael, his wife, and their young children to give fingerprints so that they could eliminate their prints from the ones taken and hopefully catch their burglars. The O'Sheas happily gave their prints. A detective sent all their fingerprints into Interpol and was confused when he got a hit on Michael's prints. Investigators were stunned to discover that Michael O'Shea's prints matched that of American Joe Maloney's. They called the United States,
We gasp.
Yeah. They called the United States, who still had Joe up on their most wanted list. Unfortunately, he could not be arrested because Ireland and the United States had no extradition agreement.
Oh.
Extradition, yeah. For over a decade, at the request of the Rochester police and the FBI, Irish authorities kept Joe under surveillance, but there was little else they could do because they had committed no crime in Ireland. During this time, Joe,
Extradition is that's how Roman Polanski's still living a free life.
Yes.
So it's
It's a kind of a bitch if you've done something wrong.
Mm-hmm. So during this time, Joe, under the alias of Michael Shea, had held a series of jobs, including working as a farmer and laborer, and he was also involved in several business ventures. He also had this whole other family,
Right.
like this wife and 2 other
That's
kids, I think.
wild.
But in 1984, the Irish Parliament did pass an extradition treaty. After 18 years at large, on January 7th, 1985, Joe, aka Michael, was finally taken into custody. Joe was held without bail, all the while continuing to deny his identity. He remained incarcerated for 14 months at Montjoy Prison outside of Dublin. He refused to cooperate with authorities and did not allow himself to be photographed. He also tried to escape at least twice while in custody. Then in 1986, the Irish-American extradition treaty was voided because of a legal technicality.
Oh my God.
So on July 24th, Joe walked out of prison and disappeared, perhaps forever.
Oh shit.
In February 1987, the extradition treaty.
Never came back.
So then in February of 1987, the treaty was ratified and made valid again, allowing Joe to be extradited back to the United States. However, by then it was far too late. There was no trace of him to be found.
Oh my God.
The most
The luckiest
recent,
man
I
alive.
know,
Yeah.
seriously.
and I'll share some photos and stuff. But the most recent photo of Joe was taken in 1967 at the time of his arrest in Rochester. So that's also why he didn't want any other photos taken, because they could clearly match him up.
Yeah.
He would now be in his mid 80s. He is 6'2". He's 6'2" and a half, with a slender build. But I don't know how they know that now. He's 80 something. I don't know. Yeah. He has red hair and blue eyes with a scar over his right eye. He is a demolition expert, as he'd
Most
say.
easily identifiable human I have ever
He's
heard
a
of.
leprechaun
He's a
walking.
6'2" redhead with a scar over his eye.
Yeah.
But now his hair would be white.
Yeah, but you don't get many of those in general. Come on, bro.
So they say he's a demolition expert and he may have a pilot's license. Authorities
flying.
Authorities believe that he could have fled to Canada. He may have used his contacts with the Irish Republican Army, the IRA, to go underground. And so if you guys see him, the police are looking for this
I
man.
think he's my
If you see
neighbor.
this guy, your neighbor is 6'2", redhead with a scar over
Well,
his
now
eye.
he has white hair, but he has a scar over his eye.
Mhm.
And he's 6'2".
He's pretty tall.
Big redhead.
Yeah.
Listen, I think we just cracked the case.
Yeah.
This one's real.
Stop it. All done.
And there's people out there that are oh, I saw that guy blah blah. And they're just can you
That's
call
The
someone?
Bader Meinhof effect. We talked about that when we covered Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. Once your brain sees him once, it just recognizes him everywhere in the world. So if they saw one of this guy's pictures, they're like, oh yeah, that's Joe. He's the janitor at my kid's school.
No, that's Bob. He's my teacher.
Yeah, it's both of those people. I saw him both places. He is both of those people.
Okay. So that was the first one.
Love that. That's
Second
great.
story. On St. Patrick's Day of 2010, a 6-foot-tall man dressed as a leprechaun held up the First State Bank in Gallatin, Tennessee, a suburb of Nashville.
If this isn't true, I'm going to be furious.
The young man was 20-year-old David Christopher Cotton of Brentwood, Tennessee, another wealthier suburb of Nashville.
Good name.
20-year-old Ryan Skinner, a student at Western Kentucky State University and also from Brentwood, was the getaway driver. David first attempted to rob Fifth Third Bank. Upon walking in, the manager spotted David right away, who was wearing a black top hat with a green shamrock on it, sunglasses, a fake brown beard and wig, and St. Paddy's Day festive vests and shorts, carrying a blue bag. David could probably feel that the manager was a little suspicious of him, so he left and went across the street to First State Bank. They're all the same.
Awesome.
He obviously wasn't conspicuous, but it was St. Patrick's Day, so most people thought he was just festive. They were cool. At this bank, he took out a large caliber gun and demanded the bank teller put money into his blue bag and to be he was be quick about it. She was okay.
Well, all right.
So she obliged. David was seen running out of the bank and getting into the getaway car. A few moments later, the police had already been alerted. The police were quickly on their tail in a chase. There is a patrol car video of this chase that you can watch. It shows David leaning out of the passenger side window and like firing several shots at the police car.
God.
Yeah.
Worst leprechaun ever.
David got out a few good shots, and a couple of them like hit the front of the police car, and it like caused like a bunch of metal and shit to like go up and disabled it completely. But there was like a whole bunch of other police cars, so they were just like and like went around. David got a few good. Oh, sorry. So after a little more time, no, hold on. Okay, so yeah, so now more cars are on the chase, right? After a little more time and nowhere to go, the boys ditched their car and ran into a nearby field. The police had them cornered. But the boys refused to surrender or put down their guns, and both were shot to death.
Oh my goodness.
Later, it was revealed that David actually shot himself before the police could get to him.
Oh.
Because bank robberies are a federal crime, the FBI was called in to investigate. When they checked David's home, they found a Santa suit in his closet. Several months prior, just a few days before Christmas, a man dressed in a Santa suit held up a bank. That case had remained unsolved until now.
Stop.
Besides the Santa suit, the suspect made similar comments during both robberies. And they were like, "We found our man. This was him."
Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah.
So wait, does he also have a Halloween costume?
Well,
I mean, he
some
should rob a
believe-
bank once to see, like,
Well, that's the thing.
Every
Some
season.
believe that had he not shot himself, or like been caught, that like he would dress up as the Easter Bunny and rob the bank the next. That would have been next.
I want this as a
Unless-
movie. This needs to be a movie.
Mhm.
Could you imagine?
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Story 3. In Ireland. So now we are like legit in Ireland for this whole story.
Okay.
Okay. On St. Paddy's Day 2012, Thomas Two Tap Duffy, an Irish UFC fighter, was
Oh.
arrested for manslaughter and convicted to 15 years in prison.
Jesus.
The Saturday before Two Tap won his fight against the middleweight champion Anderson Silva, making him the new middleweight champ. The win was controversial as it went to a decision ruling in Thomas's favor. Many believed Silva should have won because it looked like he had done the most damage, especially to Thomas's face, who he had like one eye was like really swollen during the match, right? Thomas, and though the rounds were close, Thomas won by controlling Silva on the ground for most of the last round. So despite not getting a knockout or submission win, which is like what you want,
Right.
you don't want it to go to the judges, Thomas Two Tap Duffy was still the new champ, and he was planning to party on St. Paddy's Day in his hometown of Dublin. After stopping into a few bars, Thomas Two Tap. I just love his. I love his name so much.
Thomas Tuta.
It's just
It is
so
a good
good.
one. Yeah.
They just people like have the best name. There's like I forget what one of the girls' name was like Carrie Carnage, and I was like, oh, that's such a good one.
That's a really
good
badass.
one. That is
I-
another roller derby name. Carrie Carnage.
Very good.
Whole wheat shorty.
Whole week short.
Don't remember what mine was
Yeah.
because I have no short-term memory.
So after stopping into a few bars, Thomas enters the Marble Arch pub and is greeted with congratulatory applause and screams. Though most of the bars had his fight on and saw him win, this bar was owned by family friends. Hearing everyone cheer for him just felt that much more special. The hometown bar. Thomas quickly noticed one gentleman at the bar who hadn't looked up from his drink to toast him. He just thought, guess I can't win them all, you know? But it still bugged him. He's a fighter. He's like, eh. After a few more minutes, Thomas called over the owner, his father's best friend, Carrie Clark, and ordered a round of shots for those that were sitting at the bar, including the gentleman who didn't seem interested in the celebrations, despite his St. Paddy's Day attire that called him out immediately as an American. So,
Yeah.
Thomas had, of course, ordered his own branded whiskey, Brawler's Irish Whiskey.
Oh my
I
gosh.
should have
I
brawlers.
know.
I don't know where
I didn't want to give it away yet, though.
I don't know where
I need
find
you.
that.
Carrie poured the shots and placed them in front of each filled bar. Also, it's like $70 to like $80 a
Oh
bottle.
my goodness.
A lot of people recommended very expensive whiskeys as
Yeah.
our beverage.
I actually
don't
think
know
that
that we like.
I think I also recommended one that was wildly expensive.
Everyone did.
But it's so worth it.
Right. A
I
good
got
whiskey
this-
is a good whiskey, you know?
I got a small
No,
bottle
no,
of the
no.
Tullamore Dew, so
Yes.
we were
It's
fine.
perfect.
There were other ones I was like, what? You people are
Spend 120 right
I
now.
know. You think I'm gonna drop that much money on a beverage? I was like, I don't like this. That's my favorite. Continue.
Okay. So Carrie poured the shots and placed them in front of each person at the bar, like that was filling a bar seat.
Mhm.
The gentleman, dressed as an American leprechaun, passed on the shot. Carrie made a gesture toward Thomas, the American, the guy, the other gentleman, who looked to be like in his late 20s, looked up at Thomas and then back to Carrie and still passed on the shot. So he was just like, no, like, I don't want this. So now it felt aggressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's when Thomas walked over to him and introduced himself. He's like, maybe he just doesn't know who I am.
Right.
Like, this is my bar. This is my drink. Like,
So he was like, hey, hello, I'm a
Yeah.
celebrity.
yes,
Cool.
I am somebody. I am someone. The young man was named Kyle Chafee, an American visiting Ireland for the holidays with his bros. Thomas explained that he wanted to buy a shot for everyone to thank them for their support. He asked Kyle if he had ever had Brauer's whiskey before. Kyle said no, while his friend Derek, who was behind him, enthusiastically screamed, "Yes, I love it, and you!"
I like that friend.
And this
That
is
friend is
probably why they're at this bar, because they know that this is like Thomas Two Taps bar.
I love this friend.
So Thomas saw that Derek didn't have a shot yet, so he called Carrie over to pour him one. Thomas then asked the two men to join him and everyone else in a toast. He lifted up his shot. Everyone followed, except Kyle, who just stared at Thomas as he took his shot. Thomas took Kyle's shot and put it down, then asked Carrie to pour three more. So Thomas took Kyle's shot and he took it. He
Right.
was just like, the fuck? So he drank it, and then he asked Carrie to come over, and he was like, three more.
Dang.
We're gonna do this.
Okay.
3 more shots. And so Carrie could see that there was a fire in Thomas. He's just like, I know this kid. He is not happy right now. And he offered to just pour him two. He was like, how about just like you and this other kid that like loves you, like this Derek kid.
There you go.
And Thomas said no, 3 is good. So Thomas then asked Kyle to take a shot with him, and Kyle said no thanks, he really didn't want one. Sensing the tension, Derek tried to change the subject, telling Thomas, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan of yours. You're the reason we actually came to this bar. Well, the reason I came to this bar. Kyle is an Anderson Silva fan, though, so excuse him if he's a little butthurt, but he's very drunk and doesn't know any better.
Oh my.
Essentially is what he said from what Derek can recall
Right.
of this statement. I just love that he's so through and butthurt.
Yeah.
Kyle let out a little chuckle at this part and picked up his Guinness to drink it. And of course, he's drinking Guinness because, like, what else would an American drink
Not
when they go
warm,
there?
though.
Right.
Not warm. They don't serve it
It
warm.
is cold, so we
Yeah,
will have those.
We discovered that.
And that's when witnesses say Thomas picked up both shots, downed one, and tossed the other in Kyle's face,
Oh.
and began yelling, I'm the champ, I'm the champ. To which Kyle replied, your face says something else. Because remember, he got like,
Your face
punched.
is something else.
Yeah.
This is so mouse.
So remember during the fight, he had like one eye fully swollen. So he's still
yeah.
looking like rough, right?
Mhm.
You glare at him.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially.
Or one eye, sorry.
Yeah. And before anyone could blink, Thomas punched Kyle square in the face with his left hand, causing him to drop his beer to the floor.
Oh no.
And then he swung his right fist to the side of his face, knocking him off his stool. Several of the bar patrons leaped up to grab hold of Thomas, who was about to lunge himself down on the ground. And a group of men managed to get Thomas outside of the bar to like cool down. He was just like, dude, the fuck? So my other favorite part of the story is that he got in 2 taps.
Two taps.
And then they pulled him.
I mean, you really gotta live up to the.
You gotta
to
stay,
an
you
alien
gotta
vibe.
stay on brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You
can't
know?
not do that.
No.
On board.
So, meanwhile,
It's amazing.
this is like a horrible story though because
Oh
it's still horrible. I shouldn't. It's only not even that long ago. All right. So meanwhile, Derek and Gary tended to Kyle, who was passed out on the floor. An ambulance was called immediately after Derek yelled that there was blood coming from the back of his head. Kyle was taken to the hospital. He suffered several face fractures, but the fall of the stool caused damage to his brain and like put him into a coma.
Oh my god.
Doctors hoped he could heal while in the state. But then over the next few days, so doctors were like, okay, we're like hoping maybe he'll just heal, he'll get better.
Yeah.
Over the next few days, Thomas visited the hospital, apologizing to everyone who would listen, and even sitting with Kyle in his hospital room for several hours. Kyle's mother and stepdad flew in from the States, and once they were there, they told authorities that they wanted to file assault charges against Thomas. Thomas was arrested and went without a fight. After a week in the hospital, Kyle's condition worsened, and he eventually died.
Oh
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Thomas was then convicted of manslaughter. So that's like,
Wow.
Yeah. The normal sentence for manslaughter is about 8 years, but Thomas was given 15. The judge ruled that this
Oh, wow.
wasn't just an ordinary drunken bar fight. Thomas Two-Tap Duffy was a professional UFC fighter and the middleweight champion of the world, which makes his fists actual weapons, which he should have like more control over. Kyle was 25, graduated with an MBA from the University of Arizona, interned with the Phoenix Suns Arizona's NBA team, had just been offered a full-time position upon his return from his Ireland trip. So he was like also celebrating that.
Mhm.
Loved the Lord of the Rings. So like they were supposed to like go on like some tours while they were up there. The UFC, he loved the UFC and his cat Mouse. His cat
Aw.
named Mouse. And his family. And he loved his family. His best friend Derek still remains confused by like everything that happened. He was just like, the fuck just happened?
That's confusing.
He's made statements saying everyone was really drunk. He remembers at that point the Thomas Duffy and Anderson Silva fight was being widely contested by fans and peers, and Duffy was getting a lot of shade. Kyle was always busting balls, so he felt like so he was just like, yeah, because he was just like, he was always like, he was like a ball buster. So like, of course he was gonna like give this guy shit, but like not, they probably, had there been more time, he probably would have like been like, yeah, whatever, dude, we're cool. Like obviously he doesn't know Anderson Silva either,
Right.
So like, Derek says, like, I really like Duffy as a fighter. What he did can never be undone, but being there, I could see the anger in his eyes. It's no excuse. My friend is dead because someone's ego was hurt. Duffy has apologized. I believe he is sorry, and I just don't know how he can fix this. So Thomas Two-Tap Duffy remains remorseful, and when he gets out of prison, which is in 5 years from now, hopes to work with some of the MMA gyms, which is the mixed martial art gyms, and they're the ones that train, and a lot of them go to like the UFC and other stuff. He hopes to work with some of the gyms in Ireland to help set up counseling within the gym so students and coaches have access to both physical and mental health.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's like what he's going to do. So that was my third story.
Damn.
Okay. So now we have to guess which one of Leslie's is false. I'm going to wait before I say anything because one of those stories I covered on a What the Friday. So if y'all paid attention,
Crap, now I don't remember.
Leslie included, you would know one of those stories already has truth in it. So
I'm going to make a terrible guess. Can I make it? Yeah.
you were supposed to guess, but I'm going to guess
Well,
last because I have the things
I'm
to
guessing
suss out.
story number 2.
That was the leprechaun bank robber.
Yes. I hope, let me preface, I hope it's 100% real. I want a real life movie on it. Like, if anybody's watching who can produce
FX,
that.
please make this
Like,
something.
exactly. FX, I need it. But I think it's false. Come here, bro.
Somebody have a guess? Ariel also thinks it's 2.
Oh, Sandy thinks it's 2. Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Nikki was Nikki thing. She's thinking hard.
Ariel said 2. Sandy said 2. I said 2.
I don't know
I
if
love
Dr. Lisa's with us anymore. She
I
said she
know.
had to.
Lisa's doing some work. She's in and out.
Yeah.
So. All right. Is that all our guesses?
Cool.
So, story number 2, I actually covered
Damn
I
it.
don't want the Friday, but it was about Santa. So, I
Oh,
told the
okay.
Santa portion, and the first part is either a lie or I didn't cover it as much. Because the Santa thing happened, the bank robbery in a Santa suit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that one's true. I hope they are all real and you ignored the rules, Ariel. That would be great.
I almost did. To be
I
honest,
would have been like,
I'm
what a
so
twist.
Yeah.
She did do a really great job, Ariel. Agreed. You had so many details in every story. My guess is that number 3 was the lie. And here's why. You watch a lot of fighting. And you've told me a version of that story before, but I don't know if it's that guy's name or somebody else. So my guess is that it's number 3. But I
I'm
could
still
be wrong.
keeping. Well, I'll just keep my answer. It's fine.
Nope. Tell your answer.
I think it's 3 now.
Ow!
I don't know.
What was your original thought?
2.
Okay.
I 100% thought 2 was fake.
See, I thought that you wouldn't think that 3 was fake because I told you that story.
Okay.
So I was just like, oh, she'll know that one.
But it wasn't that name.
Do you remember the name?
No, but it was a famous guy.
Which was also Thomas Two Tap Duffy.
I could be wrong.
You could be, but you're not.
Long-term memory,
Dang.
good. Short-term memory, trash. That's how it goes.
So that story is inspired by a way lower key
I'm
version of
We ruined
That's
done.
what everyone about. Shock everyone.
Enjoy my remodeled bathroom. I can live it.
So there's a fighter, Conor McGregor, who is
That's
Irish.
the name. There it is.
Yep.
Because I've
he-
read this before. Remember you talked about it because we talked about covering Chris Benoit.
And it was just a really simple story. It was actually the same bar that I mentioned. And he ordered a couple of shots, I think 12 shots.
That is more than a couple. 12
But I'm thinking for not for the whole bar, just like a few people, like 12 or 6 shots, I forget. But he ordered his shots that was from his whiskey, which was a proper 12.
Oh,
whiskey.
that's a good name.
Yep. I know. Did you like Brawlers? Irish
I like
whiskey?
Brawlers a lot.
I thought that was a good one. And there was a guy who wouldn't take his shot, like an old man, sitting on a bar
You're
stool
like,
that
old
wouldn't take.
man, I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah, and he got really angry about it. And this was at the point when Conor McGregor was having some anger issues. He is still feisty, but he's not like that anymore. He's worked on himself.
You can't have lethal weapons and be.
Yeah, but he punched this guy, but in Irish fashion, the old man just stayed on his bar
Of
stool,
course he did.
and he was just like, whatever,
I
and
would
went
not
back.
fuck with an old Irish man.
No.
That's not. I'd be like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, sir. It's fine. So, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
shots. See, you nailed it.
Yeah.
I only got it right because I had previous information on some things.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I probably.
See, I was
would've guessed
hoping that you would be like, oh, she told me this one.
But the names didn't line up.
I didn't think you'd remember the names.
I couldn't recreate them, but I knew it wasn't those names.
Okay.
If you had
I
told me
should've-
it
I
yesterday,
should've put-
I wouldn't have remembered
I should
any
have
of it.
put Connor in there somehow, because maybe he would have been like,
It might have, yeah. People who lie at crimes use too many details. Ariel, you are correct, and you pay attention. 2 gold stars. They do.
I fall for
Well,
everything.
Mhm.
I fall for everything. Every single thing.
Good for you. All right, well, it's getting late, so I'm gonna zip through mine.
Hey, babe, how you doing back there?
I don't think he's out back there.
Oh,
I've been in that
It's
room
not over
several
there, really.
times.
Oh, where'd
He
you
went out, he
go?
left. Bye. See in my basement? Is there a dead bird in there again?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He might be hearing my story. Maybe he's listening to in the car.
That would be really
Are
funny.
you in the car, John?
Down in the car. Don't walk away. Don't walk into the.
Don't go into the light!
It's late at night. There are coyotes. Don't do it. Although coyotes don't like people, so whatever.
And youth.
There are. Listen, a youth knocked on my door at 1 a.m. There are youths in this neighborhood. I had to call the cops and everything.
That's wild.
I know. All right. Zero, are you ready? Are you done? I'm sorry, Zero like did misbehave quite a bit. As I said in the comments, he lost a tooth. Like
I read that and I literally thought that you meant he like literally just lost a
He
tooth.
did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's still like an open socket.
You're kidding.
He just lost one. He's 6 months old and he has.
He finds it.
Or else the tooth fairy won't come.
I bet he swallowed it. I've had puppies before and they always like worry out their teeth really quick when they're losing them, but he has refused to. He's like looks like a baby shark. He has 2 rows of teeth. So he just has this mouth full of like terrifying teeth right now. I'm like, you gotta lose those fucking teeth.
Shark dog do baby shark dog do.
He is baby shark. But he just wore himself out with that whole debacle. So now he's gonna sleep. Okay. So
Thank you for that.
yeah.
That's the Zero update. Zero.
He's over there eating like my son's bendy stuffy or something, whatever. So my topic is Irish mythological creatures, which we all covered last year. So there's a chance that you guys read about some of these. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But you didn't. So anybody watching this is for you. So my first one is called the... Oh, I did the phonetics wrong. I'm so mad. The Dobercoo. I'm sure you have all heard of a water horse, the large and graceful water beast who glides along in the shadows like a leaf garland festooned brontosaurus with flippers. But the most famous of which was, of course, the Loch Ness Monster. But have any of you ever heard of the water hound? Probably not. Otherwise known as the Irish crocodile, or, I shit you not, the king otter.
Oh.
I
Okay.
already love him.
The Dobercoo is an ancient mythological water beast that would kick Nessie's placid ass if they ever were to meet. True story. The Dobercoo is described as a huge carnivorous otter-like creature, sometimes referred to as a giant dog with an otter's head, or an otter that is 5 times its normal size, perhaps 10 to 15 feet, or 8 to 14, if you want to stick to, monster traditional sizing. It's always 8 to 14 feet, like the Slender Man. It's also described as having a white pelt with black ear tips and a black cross on its back. So just imagine for a moment a 14-foot otter with like a taste for blood coming after you out of a lake.
Okay.
That's a big fucking thing. So tucked away in County Leitrim graveyard, a young woman's gravestone provides a strange hint that the Dobercoo may be more than just a myth. Stories of the Dobercoo date back to ancient times in Ireland, describing it as something similar to a cross between a dog and an otter, or sometimes an otter and a fish. It lives predominantly in the many lakes of Ireland, so this is not an ocean monster, it is a lake monster, but it is also said to inhabit other bodies of deep water occasionally, including rivers and the sea. This is only like once in a while it will wander outward, but mostly it's lakes. It is predatory and extremely hostile towards both people and dogs. What do the dogs do?
They bark.
They bite. Attempting to drag them into the water to consume, or even pursuing them onto the land. So this animal not only swims, it will run out onto the land after you.
Oh my god, I love him.
I opposite of love.
Yeah.
They're said
Come
to
to me.
so they're fast and enormous. You hear otter and you think so cute, but this is like
Aren't male otters like real rapey?
they can be. Otters also are very violent. Sometimes you're right;
Yeah.
they are very rapey. And
But they
river
hold
otters are
hands.
large and could they do
They're
hold hands. to
so
not-
snuggly. They hold hands to rape, John.
Oh my god, no!
The chain of rape.
Okay, I don't like otters anymore. I'm okay. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
No, we love an otter though. They need some counseling.
Well, furthermore,
Therapy.
this creature is said to commonly be encountered in pairs, and a dying Dobercoo will let out a strange, high-pitched whistle to alert its partner.
What does that sound like?
No.
Well, that's not bad. It's not terrifying at all.
I can't make the sound that I hear in my head. It's very shrill,
Okay.
and piercing, and like almost quiet, but it like cuts through the.
Oh, like those people that can like
yes.
my mother-in-law does that. Margie, if you're watching, it is horrible when you do in the kitchen when we're next to you. That's what I'm gonna imagine now.
Just Margie Wolf whistling.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you.
Okay. Well, it whistles to alert its partner, which, after it whistles, will emerge from the water and seek to exact revenge on anyone that has successfully killed its mate.
Ooh.
Sometimes the creature is referred to as a giant. No, I already said that. Sorry. Okay, so sometimes it looks like an otter. Sometimes it looks like a really large dog with just an otter's head, which I think is worse.
A really large dog.
Like
with
imagine
an
a Great
otter's
Dane
head.
with an otter's head, but like a really big otter's head. So it's like running at you, but
So
it has
it's
this
a ball
round
head?
head with all the teeth.
Oh, that'd be horrible, especially if you saw first just the head and you were like, oh,
An
and then
otter!
you saw like,
Oh,
oh,
dog
Yeah, it
body
has
is
like
like
Scooby Doo's body running
what's
at
happening?
you. Yeah, it's
It doesn't
awful.
fit.
No good. Yeah, so sightings of the Dobberku have been recorded since at least 1684, but it was an incident in 722 for which the Dobberku is most well known, with proponents of the creature claiming it provides tangible proof of its existence. Now, the oral nature of Irish folklore, which means people told stories and then they told somebody and then they told somebody and so on, means that inevitably details become kind of changed or mashed around over the years. But the core of the story remains consistent. A woman named Grace Connolly lived close to Glenade Loch in County Antrim and had visited the lake one morning either to bathe or to wash clothes. Different recountings tell it differently. While she was there, a creature emerged from the water and violently attacked her. After she failed to return home, her husband went to look for her and found his dead wife by the side of the lake, torn limb from limb, with the creature that had killed her sleeping across her body. So, otter dog laying across just
body part.
Just got tired.
yeah, he's
Tired
like,
of
this
murdering
is mine,
her.
and he did
It
it.
takes a lot out of you,
Yeah.
you know?
Just wanted to lay on what he got. Nice.
Finally tired.
Why is he Mario now?
I don't know. That was supposed to be
It was
French, but
That we're also
I'm
not
really
in France.
tired.
Why am I telling my story at the end of the drinking night? Anyway, drawing his dagger, the husband managed to kill the creature, which he immediately recognized as a Dobberku. As it died, it let out a strange and haunting whistle that summoned its mate from the lake. We're just being
The
cultural
loch.
now. Yeah. The second creature, so the first Dobberku's mate, was said to have pursued the husband for several miles before the husband eventually confronted it with his dagger and killed it. While this appears no different to hundreds of other cautionary folklore tales, what sets this story apart is the fact that Grace Connolly's grave actually exists. You can go visit it. And it seemingly attributes her death on the gravestone to the Dobberku. Located in Conwell Cemetery, close to Keenlough in Antrim, Grace's grave is now badly weathered and the text is pretty illegible. However, a carving that appears on the tombstone remains and depicts a strange creature being pierced with a dagger, with locals maintaining this is the image of a Dobberku. Although rare, sightings have continued into the present day. Some researchers claim a small population of Dobberku reside in, where did I look up this one? Strachan's Loch on the island of Atchell off the west coast of County Mayo. Butchered those. In 2003, Irish artist Sean Corcoran and his wife reported seeing a strange creature on Omey Island in County Galway. They described a huge creature that was able to swim rapidly with the help of webbed feet and emitted a strange, high-pitched whistle. So just like imagine that sound. I can't recreate it. So that's the first one, the Dobberku. So giant otter dog.
I
otter dog.
Giant murderous otter dog.
Ugh.
want that as a pet.
Right? I think it would be
And
fun.
this is the thing,
Like
though.
if he was on my side.
Well, not even that. Listen, I know that
Uh-oh.
I'm going to perish because I'm going to pet something that should not be pet.
Yeah.
I know that that's how I'm going to die.
Well, see, I wouldn't
What
do
a way
that.
to go.
Grizzly bear, like, what? Why make scary? Well, why make
Why
bad?
make scary,
It
Grizzly
looked like
bear?
friends.
Why make scary?
It looks like a friend. I'm just saying. So, I love the Dobberku.
You love the Dobberku? All right.
#1 fan.
Well, I hope it's true for you.
John believes.
I want to believe.
Listen, I could have looked up a lot of names and spelled them out and then forgot how to pronounce them because we've talked about my short-term memory a lot today. So the next one is Laincha Failed. This is a man, not a creature. Well, he's a little of both, actually.
Interesting.
Yes, Laincha Failed was a legendary man said to be capable of shape-shifting into a wolf at will.
Yes.
So we're talking about an Irish old-timey werewolf.
I love it.
You love a werewolf.
I do.
Exactly.
Remus Lupin. Here we are.
Kind of.
This
Yeah.
would be Remus. This is probably Teddy Lupin. So Remus Lupin and Nymphodora's child, Teddy. Like if he was an
Animagus?
yep, an animagus
I got that.
and a werewolf.
I can't
like,
do all the names, but I can
Yeah.
do that one term. There you go.
He could possibly do this.
I mean, this was in like 1400, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, but J.K. Rowling could have.
Yeah, that's possible.
She who may not. She who must not be named.
She who must not be named. This is true. Yeah, you
could have like taken this story. So okay,
that's
I'm
very
here.
true. I mean, like as we go on, you might actually agree with that more. So anyway, later the name Leitchfield came to refer to this legendary warrior's offspring and possibly others who had the shape-shifting ability. So he was so famous and so prolific that his name just became synonymous with werewolves. So the whole like breed of wolfmen in Ireland were called the Leitchfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Leitchfield were fearsome warriors too, sought after by kings.
And 0.
It's John.
Oh God, who didn't mind paying? It's a werewolf. They were sought after by kings and like rulers who didn't mind paying their price so that they could get this like army of wolf warriors to fight for their country. So they were very sought after because they're not going to lose. One of these kings was. I did this to myself so many times. Tyrannus. He was High King of Ireland sometime between 1600 and 1100. There are a lot of different reports. They all report a different date. It's very old-timey. So we're going to average it and say around 1400 BC.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah, we're back very far. This is old-timey times.
Before baby Jesus.
Before
Before the baby
baby
Christ child.
Jesus. Before Common Era. But
Yeah.
also before that baby Jesus. True. Again, different sources say different things. So Tyrannus was quite wealthy. He was a very rich king. Some kings had a lot of money. Some kings didn't. This one did.
I want to be a king with a lot of money.
Same.
Wouldn't
It's
it suck to be the poorest king?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, you're like,
I'm
"Look
a
at
king.
them.
I bet the
What?
And I
first
have
time
no
still has
money.
I
no
won.
money.
Why don't I have any money? Yeah, that would be awful. But this one didn't have that. He was like really rich and killing it. I'm losing my spot.
Sorry.
So this means he had enough gold to pay for the army of werewolves, right? Of course. Yeah, this is goals all around.
This is also that vampire and True Blood who had the army of werewolves.
Maybe this is also based off.
The New Orleans
Mhm.
vampire.
Here's the thing though. The Leitchfield didn't want to be paid in gold. They had a different price.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they are werewolves.
They are. So, go back a little bit. Both the Leitchfield and Tyrannus were said to worship an ancient god that we've talked about before called Crom Crouch, the Lord of the Mound. Later, he was called other stuff, but that's what he's most likely referred to. Anyway, this god is an ancient god that seems to have been mainly a fertility god. Milk and grain were sacrificed to him, but more disturbingly, he is also associated with human sacrifice, especially that of children. He was depicted as a possible sun god, as a golden figure surrounded by 12 bronze or stone figures, possibly representing the 12 zodiac signs.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. This cult image of him stood on the plains known to these days as Magslesh, the plains of prostration. So that means like kneeling down to gods. Within this golden idol, so the statue of Crom Crouch, a demon or his spirit, we don't know, dwelt within. So whatever is in this golden idol, not very nice. Right?
It's like a Dybbuk.
Kind of, yeah. So early pagan Irishmen and women would worship and pray, and each year they would sacrifice children to the golden god Crom Crouch to ensure fertile crops and good harvests. And the younger, the better.
They still do this? Is it still
I
allowed?
mean, maybe. I don't think so, but like people don't be
When do
paid.
I sign up? Just kidding.
If you'll try it, who knows?
There you go.
It's young forever.
According to the book Old Ways, Old Secrets of Pagan Ireland by Joe Kerrigan, on the plains also dwelt an oracle, which responded to those coming to pay homage to Crom Crouch. Whether this oracle resided in the idol itself or elsewhere is unsure. In a 9th century text, Vita Quarta, This is about St. Patrick. Crouch is referred to as a very bad demon.
Oh.
Although, very bad. Although, since he did respond to his followers and their questions, he was worshipped as a god.
Oh,
So
like
he's
on
worshipped.
Insta.
Yeah, very bad god, but a very bad god who you're like, please, here's some dead babies. And he's like, okay. So then they worship as a god instead.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
So let's get back to the werewolves. They were in Tipperary, to be exact, since that is the most interesting part. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's late. It's time to sing. So we're back to Tipperary and we're back to werewolves. These are the Leinchefeld, as we previously mentioned, and they're not interested in gold. The steep price they asked for instead was the flesh of newborn babies.
Oh, well, that's lucky.
These are golden guys.
There's a lot of people that are giving these away.
Exactly.
This is great.
We did talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
So the king gladly complied because the king is also a worshiper of this ancient god. So he's like, I totally get it. We have to kill babies. Come fight for me.
Yeah.
And the werewolves were like, sweet.
Yeah.
Everything was going really well for the king and for the werewolf warriors. And for about 77 years, he reigned. And the wolves killed all of his enemies. And life was great. Though, somehow, everything went very wrong one day on the plains in front of all the golden gods that they were sent to worship and sacrifice babies to.
Right. Okay.
So this is on Samhain, Halloween, October 31st, 1413, still BC.
Mm-hmm.
The king, together with 4,000 of his followers, went to a sacrifice with the Leinchefeld for the Leinchefeld to have them continue to work for them. And nobody knows what exactly happened during this, but the only people that walked away that day were the Leinchefeld. So all of the king's horses and all of the king's men were torn stem from stern, because apparently during this sacrifice, during this ritual, which is now referred to as the seventh plague of Ireland, the Leinchefeld got a little carried away with their worship.
They get hungry.
Instead of just they didn't eat them.
Oh.
They just killed them.
Oh.
They don't eat anything. They just kill it on this hill full of golden idols.
Oh.
So it's like a terrifying midsummer type thing. Yeah, it's all a bunch of like false idols made out of gold that are said to have demons inside them, and then a bunch of werewolves. And then the king and all his men were like, we trust this situation. It's fine. And then somehow they all were brutally massacred that day on that hill. And not a single detail of the events therein remains. We only know the aftermath. Yes. So, descendants of the Leinchefeld are said to still roam the lands around Tipperary looking for a sacrifice to their ancient god.
Oh, so be careful.
So be careful.
Yeah.
You see like a ferocious warrior that has like too much facial hair. They might eat you on a hill. They don't eat you. They might just kill you on a hill. They don't even eat you. It's a waste.
Yeah.
Honestly, sounds
I mean,
romantic.
it's like tough to like put your trust.
It sounds
in...
romantic. Gross.
You know, a little bit.
Love it.
If you're gonna kill me on the hills of Ireland.
with a golden, surrounded by golden gods with
Yeah.
demons inside of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't get better than that.
But like
It is a good story.
a real muscular werewolf.
Right.
And really, yeah.
I'm not complaining.
And some
Yes.
swarthy werewolf warriors that are like, just carried away.
Like, we just can't control himself. He's so aggressive.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my. He knows what he wants and he goes for it. Whew.
So that is the Leinchefeld. We have one more. This last one is called the Glumach. There's a in this one.
That sounds Jewish. False. Fake.
It's also not Irish words.
Oh my god.
Leslie's like, I have one reason, it's vaguely racist. Bad.
You're done.
You burnt.
Yeah. You're burnt.
It also is in a lot of Irish words, that soft back of throat sound. Anyway, historically, the sea has been feared and mysterious. Historically, the sea has been a feared and mysterious place for those who lived near it. Before the advent of any kind of device that would allow humans to see underwater, you simply didn't know what was down there.
Unless you opened your eyes.
But then it's foggy. Like if you go
Okay.
way down in the depths of the ocean,
Oh, then it's dark
yeah,
down
you
there, I
can't
would
see
say.
anything.
Also,
Yeah.
real salty.
Real salty.
Yeah.
Eyes hurt.
Ouchie, burn on the eyes.
I can't be looking around. I'm real salty.
So it's salty and thick.
Full circle.
No.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Sorry.
So anyway, you couldn't see underwater, and the sea therefore was seemingly endless, cold, and unforgiving. And sometimes its floor yielded some of the most fearsome creatures imaginable. We still know that in the deepest parts of the ocean. That's where you get things that look
So terrible.
not good. Yeah, they're scary.
And things we haven't even found out yet that
Right.
live there.
And some of them are like see-through or glow in the dark.
I know, the one with the light.
The
and
anglerfish,
like,
Yeah. No good. No bueno at the bottom of the sea. And you may not know this because we think of it as such a uniquely American thing, but the lobster is a fairly common delicacy in Ireland as well. It can be caught all up and down the coast, and you'll find it for sale in any of the fishing ports you might visit. So you can get lobsters in Ireland too. Pretty cool. Perhaps the one we would be most familiar with, fishing ports that is, would be Galway's Claddagh village, like the Claddagh little part of the it's cute, which is situated on Galway Bay. It's really pretty. It's like really picturesque, and it hasn't changed much in like hundreds of years. You can still kind of walk along the banks of the bay and see like the old cottages. It's beautiful.
I've been there.
I want to go there real bad. I saw a lot of
Put it on
pictures.
the list.
Saw a lot
Put it
of
on
pictures
the
of
list.
Yeah, we're going on our UK and Ireland tour.
Yes.
I know. I was looking at it. I was like, I just want to walk around there. It's so peaceful. Anyway. Irish lobsters are slightly different than the ones you'll find here in America, though. They are deep brown mottled color, like almost a wine color, and they have blue legs.
Ooh.
Yeah, true story. Is that your record scratch?
No, I'm holding 0.
Oh. I thought you were like blue legs.
That was 0's record scratch.
I mean, he has very good timing. They have blue legs, and the joints of their legs, like right here, are kind of an orangey color. So they're very bright and like weird looking, as opposed to
I'm
like
living
bland ass
that.
American lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one of them recently sold for $500 to eat, not a beer pet.
Do they not have a lot of them there?
No, they have tons of them, but like these blue ones are apparently especially delicious.
Okay. That's
Of course they are.
I know, but apparently they're great. I don't know.
I'm diving for my own.
Now,
Throw it with some mac and cheese, and it's all the same.
I love a lobster mac and
Me
cheese.
too. It's the only way I eat either lobster mac and cheese or lobster ravioli. It's the only way to eat lobster.
I mean, I'll eat lobster any way you'll give it to me, but those
Same.
are both very good. So anyway, all of this probably seems like pretty innocuous information. Like, Holly, why are you telling us this lobster bullshit? But
Because it's awesome.
because in Ireland, the lobster also has a humanoid cousin, the glumach. Now, sounds like stomach. It's weird, right?
The glumach.
The glumach. Now, all of this probably, I already read that. The glumach is a humanoid figure who dwells at the bottom of Ireland's scenic bays. It has wine-colored skin on its trunk, its head that will fade into a pale oxygen-choked blue in its limbs. Its limbs, however, are not like those of your average human. This is the part that I really hate. Where it might have arms, the glumach has large bony claws, like shaped like appendages, so it looks like they're made out of bone, but they're claw-shaped. And in some retellings of this legend, the tips of the claws are bare bone, so like it came out of the skin. I know, it's really gross. And then the skin kind of like trails off into the water, like translucent little tendrils floating along, almost like a jellyfish.
So it's just like ruffles.
Sure,
Ruffles in the
we're
water.
gonna say it's ruffles.
It's like
That's
something like
Yeah.
Harry Styles
That's
would wear.
perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
not ragged swaths of skin floating around them. Anyway,
Yes.
the glumach's legs appear human at first, so they have legs, but if you follow them downward where the feet should be are wide paddle-like fins, almost like a cross between the tail of a lobster and the floating fins of a betta fish. So that it all has that kind of like tenderly appearance to it.
Yeah. It's like soft.
Yes. The glumach was said to have been created on a horrible stormy night in Claddagh village. A fisherman had fallen on hard times, and though the weather was horrible, he had to stay out and try to bring in something to sell at the markets, lest his family starve. However, the wind that day was very rough, and one particularly strong gust made him lose his footing and fall into the sea, which was relentlessly churning. Soon he was sucked down into the depths, and the fisherman knew that there he would die. He sank down to the bottom of the sea, where there were lobsters crawling around that were feeding on things that had not escaped before him. So these like blue lobster guys are like, bottom feeding. Then he was approached by Marrows. Marrows are the Irish version of mermaids, and they look like Harry Potter mermaids.
Yes.
Right. So the boys do anyway. The boys have like pointed teeth and they're like fishy looking, like and then their female counterparts are beautiful, like Ariel.
Yeah.
So
That sounds about
like
right.
not a fair world to be a marrow, but that's their story. So this fisherman who is plummeting into the depths, sinking, he's approached by these water spirits, and they pull the fisherman close to them while the air in his lungs is beginning to expire. So he's like one breath left. He's like about to suffocate. And they tell him that they can save his life, but it comes at a cost. And the fisherman nods. He doesn't care what they have to do. He's about to suffocate to death. He'll agree to anything. And the marrow says, okay, you agree. I want you to give in and just breathe in the water. Which, like, I would have just died. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So the fisherman doesn't want to do this, but he agrees, and he relaxes his body, inhales the water, and blacks out. When he wakes up, he finds himself at the bottom of the sea. And at first he's startled because he's a person and he can't breathe under the sea, so he gasps. We gasp! Good. But soon he realizes he can breathe just fine, which is strange. And then he looks around to find out that his human body, so he looks down and sees that he doesn't have his human body anymore. He doesn't really recognize what is below him. His hands are large bony claws that had formed underneath his ragged skin, so it looks like they kind of formed and then burst through his skin. Right, gross. His feet are transformed into the fins we talked about before, and he has a strange color all over, so the fisherman begins to scream. A pair of marrows then approach him calmly, and they tell him he needs to breathe, relax. Remember, he agreed that they could save his life, but he had to pay the price. So now he belongs to them. To save him, they merged his life with that of the lobsters that crawled below. He was their guardian now, and he was to use his bony claws to tear apart any human who might dare to approach their domain. And to entice him to do his job and do it well, they explained that he could only eat what he could catch. The Glenloch is seen by bathers, so like this is going into mythological times. So people who see this creature are usually people who have swam way too far out to sea. So like, you know, when you're a kid and like there's that one person that's way out there at the beach.
Yeah.
Too far. Anyway, that's who sees this guy. They see his bony claw will emerge from the deep.
Glenn.
Glenn, you're done.
Damn it, Glenn.
You burnt. A bony claw will emerge from the deep and pull them under, ripping them to shreds, leaving only their screams captured in bubbles. So it is said that if you feel something brush your legs while swimming, you would do well to make haste towards the shore, for it could be the Glenloch reaching for his next meal. What are my stories? All of them real weird. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that third one, I can like picture like a weird movie. Like
Like
it
a
like
sci-fi
reminds
movie,
me of
right?
like
Yes.
yeah, total sci-fi movie. Like who did the now I can't remember it. Never mind.
Did you ever see Lock and Key? The
Yeah,
show
show.
Lock and Key?
I've only seen half of it.
They
It's
have-
really good.
Oh, the kids, the Savini Club, like makes like their own movie,
Yeah.
and
oh,
their
that's right.
monster is the lobster monster.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe it's inspired by that. You never know.
Maybe.
Or you know that the Shape of Water movie?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's
yes.
like that director would like direct this and
Oh,
like some
1,000%.
yeah.
Well, I actually would love to see that.
Maybe
That's
we'll get
why
to
I
see
want
it.
it to be. I want that one to be fake because I want to copyright it and be like, this is our movie.
Trademark.
Yes. Ooh.
Well, if we can, I hope somebody else makes it. I would watch it.
Fiends. What do you think? 1, 2, or
Yeah.
3?
What are
Okay,
y'all
your first
thinking?
story was about
The otter dog.
the otter dog.
The Dover
then
Dover
the
The second one was the
werewolves,
Lynch Tale, the
like
werewolf
before the baby
warriors.
Jesus.
Mhm.
Free baby Jesus.
Yeah. And then 3. Okay. What do we got? Yes.
What do you guys think?
How do you? How was it spelled with the wolf people?
Not how it looks.
Right.
None of them are spelled how they look. None of them. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Glenloch isn't either. It's Gliomaach.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an interesting language. It really is.
Hold
It's
on.
like lichen, right?
Leichenfeld
Mhm.
is spelled Laigneech, with an accent Fa with an accent Elad. Leichenfeld.
Mhm. I'm stumped,
I know.
which is weird because when it comes to spooky creatures from Celtic regions, I'm usually on top of my game.
Oh,
All right,
guys.
so Brian says 3 because
Okay.
blue lobsters, we have them in America. That's why he feels it's fake.
No, we don't, but okay.
Do we not?
Continue. We don't.
Because they sounded familiar.
Not like these.
Okay.
They found like a blue lobster.
Yeah, there's a pure
one-
blue one in Ireland too.
Right, yeah. And it was
But
like
this isn't that
a
one.
random-
This
it's
isn't
not
Betty.
that.
Theirs look very different.
I
They
was
have
gonna say,
her
does
name's
that have a
Betty.
name?
Yeah, her name is Betty. No. These are very like specific. They have very dark color on their exoskeleton, and then their legs go into this like bright blue, and their joints are orange.
They sound so cool.
They are pretty cool looking, but ours are like not this. They're not is the same. I mean, I can send you articles on why Maine lobsters and Ireland lobsters are different, but that's not as interesting
Yeah.
as you might want it to be. So
And then Sandy says 1,
okay,
which was the otter dog.
the otter dog got it.
Ariel believes it's 3 as well.
Okay.
I want 3 to be false because I want that to be our story. So
I'm
bad.
I'm for some reason stuck between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like I've heard Doverku before,
Okay.
but I don't remember
It's so
the
weird.
creature.
Is it Scooby Doo with an otter head?
Yeah.
I literally don't remember, but that also sounds very, very much like it could be like a thing that is in their mythology.
It could be. They all could be. You never know.
And and then I've never heard of Leichenfeld,
Yeah, me either.
but I
Or that
love
story,
them.
and I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've also never heard about a mound with 12 golden statues containing demons.
They're just all good stories. You did a
They're
really
all
good
they're
job.
great,
They're
like
all
literally
really
great
good
stories. I want them all to be real.
Like, Jill's here. Hi, Jill.
Hey,
You
Jill.
think 3, 2. Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna go out on a weird limb, and I'm gonna say number 2 is false.
Oh, okay.
Even though I think
I like a weird limb. I like when people
Yeah.
risk it.
yeah.
it's risky at all.
Risk it all.
I think what's weirding me out is with 3, it's like the description of the lobsters is like weirding me out. That I'm like, they're just off enough that like such a weird thing. And like somebody's gonna pay $500 for a lobster they could just get.
That
That's
I believe.
real.
That I
That's
believe
real.
100%.
I will tell you
I believe
that one thing
100%.
is
I
real.
know. Okay. All right. I don't want to.
I know. I really like.
I don't want to be wrong.
I don't want to.
I'm 0 for 2. I'm
What do you
0
think?
for
So what do you
1.
think? What do you think it is?
Because 1 was
I
mine.
was gonna say, did you get
I knew
on your own? Were you like, man, I believed a different one?
All right, I'm gonna say it's the.
Why am I Stefan now when I'm waiting? I'm like,
That was so niche. I love it.
I'm gonna.
look
pick,
at Leslie, she's destroyed.
I'm gonna pick. Okay. Because 3 feels everyone's like, I want to go to bed, Leslie, just pick one.
They're all excited to be here.
3 feels like it's not now listening to the rest of them, 3 felt like the least exciting. So it almost feels like that's just the story. And then 2 was interesting, so old-timey, and a lot of times you choose the old-timey ones. You go real
I do.
real late. And you're like,
Beast
Yeah.
before baby Jesus.
before baby Jesus. And it's such a story I feel like
know.
I've never heard.
I know.
I'm just gonna stick with John. But I want
Okay.
3. Either way, I want to make a movie about 3.
I agree. Yes.
You get to because I made up 3.
Yes. Okay.
Although the word glunnock is actually the Gaelic word for lobster, there are only blue lobsters
How the
over
hell
there.
did you come up with that?
I don't know. I write things every
What
week.
the hell?
That's why it felt like one she'd make up, but like
You hear
But
my
it was
you
so
listen to it,
detailed.
yeah.
I don't know. They do look like that. There are, if you look up Irish lobsters, Irish blue lobsters, they look exactly the way I described them. And people do, they actually are supposed to taste better. They're supposed to be delicious.
Blue is better.
I
Blue
guess
is the
it
best
is.
food.
I guess it is. And I promise you, we do
Eating-
not have them here. Maine lobsters and Irish lobsters are
Oh my
different.
god, look at him.
Aren't they cool? No, that's the
Oh.
one. That's Betty.
That's
Wait.
Betty.
That's Betty.
But yeah,
That's that
eating
other one.
blue is the most healthy.
Now you know.
Yeah.
And no,
It's
it's
like blueberries and stuff. Yeah.
antioxidants everywhere.
Wait, I can't.
Eat
find-
blue, people. Eat blue.
Oh, is it? Wait, they're more low
Look
color?
up Irish blue lobster.
I
Is that
did.
what you did? Let me see. It's not all Betty all the time. That's because Betty's.
Only Betty.
I know. Betty was like bright blue.
Is it this?
Betty the bright blue lobster.
Because this is a dark blue lobster.
a little closer, but not exactly. You see how it has like orange accents?
Yeah.
That's closer. So here's the thing.
Oh, here they are.
Did you
I have
find
an
them?
idea. Blue legs.
Yeah, blue
Oh,
legs,
yeah.
orange joints, and
Orange
the rest of them is
joints.
like a wine color.
Yeah.
They're weird. They're not like ours. They look more like a blue claw crab, but it's a little different. So Betty, the bright blue lobster, which you will see pictures of online, looks fake, but it's not. Betty has a genetic abnormality that you literally will only find once in 500 years. And so she was very valuable, but she's not the one that sold for $500. That was just a really big
Well,
one.
no, but she'd be. Yeah.
She
'cause
was
she'd
kept.
be
She was kept
way-
alive. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't kill Betty.
I like that Ariel. She must be behind because I like that she's like changing to
Oh,
one,
no,
but we
I
had
know.
already.
I know.
I love it. So, like, we're gonna trademark the Glummock and make that a
Yes.
sci-fi movie.
It needs to happen.
See, this is why I'm a terrible test taker, just so everyone knows, because I knew from the beginning that was the wrong
But
wrong
you're
one.
like, no,
But
no,
then I let our guest here change
Sorry.
my
Sorry.
The Lynch
I
and
can't
Fields.
believe I've never heard of that.
I haven't either. They're also
Yeah.
called the werewolves of there's a different oh god. hold on.
Werewolves of Dublin.
Oh!
Good night, Ariel.
Werewolves of Dublin.
Ariel's like, I'm tired. This has
Yes.
been very long.
Good night.
Well, we're done with the official stories now. This is just going to be us rambling for a few minutes. So if you want to hang out,
John, you
and
want to
ramble-
play some Nirvana?
Yeah,
And then
oh,
we
yeah.
can go.
Let me see, where is it? Let's see, bread. Yeah, I want more bread too. We're gonna have to sign off soon-ish. Anyway, do we have anybody left, or are you guys all done? You want to just listen to John play Nirvana? Nobody's responding, but that's alright.
It's a quiet world out there.
It is a quiet world out there. Where is they're called the werewolves of Ossuary, which is like a different thing because it's like they're werewolf warriors. The
Right.
most famous part of the legend is this like troop of werewolf warriors that are for hire.
I have enough room there. You don't need to get up.
I feel like you don't.
You stop.
I'm
Never.
I have a whole area.
So if you can hire a whole army of werewolf warriors, that's the werewolves of Ossuary.
I
They're
love
also
that.
called the Lynchfields.
Yeah,
and
but
they go
don't
back
hire
really
them.
far. Yeah, no, don't, because then they're
Because
gonna
you
be
can't
like,
trust them.
What I
pay
think,
me in babies. Also, I'll eat you.
you know what
Not
I think
even kill
happened
you.
though? I
What?
think in that mythology, that like piece that's missing, I think that they took all the babies that they were going to be given, sacrificed them to that god, and was like, kill all these people because we don't want to be bought anymore.
You know, it's another really fun
Mm.
footnote to that story.
Hmm.
There is a sequel to it wherein they say that St. Patrick came in, and I know because he solved all the problems, and he defeated Crouch, their
Yeah.
golden sun god of ancient times, and then he fixed everything. So St. Patrick
You know
does
what?
tie into that story.
I don't believe that. That one's
There's
fake.
also
Yeah,
That's the false one.
Leslie, good job.
I did it.
There's,
You nailed
you
it.
know,
Do I get
killed
extra
it.
credit until I pass this?
You
Okay.
do, 100%.
I should have listened to Jill. She's a teacher. She always gets the answers right.
I did. I mean, it was the one that was written most in my voice, so I get it.
I
Not as
know.
catchy as Werewolves of London. No, it's not. Werewolves of Ossuary is not as good.
It could work. If, with the right music, you know, some bagpipes in the background.
Oh, I got it.
Werewolves of Ossuary.
I mean,
Werewolves of Ireland.
yeah. We just need you guys to like get in there. There it goes. We got it. Anyway, that was all our stories, I think.
That was fun.
Questions, comments, compliments? we'll take them off, and then we're gonna sign off shortly.
Give these ladies validation.
Validation. Please.
I need it to melt away the bread I just ate.
You don't think I'm gonna eat more bread as soon as we're
I
done?
had like that little end piece, so like
Oh,
I'm ready
that-
for like
mhm.
another like big piece
Fluffy,
now.
Oh,
very fluffy,
God.
yeah.
That was good.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I think we have more people watching now than we did when we were actually
we
doing
didn't.
it.
No, there was for a while. There was
Oh,
like
okay.
8 people.
Yeah, we had 8 to 10.
Oh, 8 to 14 feet tall.
But I do love that we only had 6 likes. For a while it was like 4, but like 10 people were listening, and I was like our page.
They don't like it. They're
Yeah.
like, I'll listen, but I won't like it.
I refuse.
Well, thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll catch you next Tuesday.
And
Oh God, and if we were why in Ireland, I don't know. We told 3 different sets of stories. I
we
can't.
sure did.
I can't really make it. And if we were shenanigans on St. Patrick's Day,
We would be dead.
dead.